by sharing with you a few of the general portfolio tips that I see. So if you're still building your portfolio, looking to redesign it, these tips will help you out. So let me go ahead and share my screen so I can give you those. This is very, very short, but I want to make sure to give Jennifer enough time to assign rooms, which is what our plan is here tonight. So let me go ahead and do that. So I've been a designer for a while, and in teaching and in designing, I have noticed a number of things about successful portfolios that I wanted to share. Everybody has a different opinion. Why does my opinion count? I've been doing this for a long time. I'm not just the founder of UX and ATX, but I also run an agency called Standard Beagle that does UX design and development. And I got my graduate degree, master's in UX design from MICA, the Maryland Institute College of Art. So I've been doing this a while, and I've been speaking for a long time and coaching my clients on how to make their experience better. So working with students, I've noticed that there are things that some curriculums don't necessarily cover when it comes to portfolios. And just what I've seen worked, and I've talked with other, especially hiring managers and senior designers about, these are the things that I see as a common thread for successful portfolios. The first one is, it's really important for you to explain why you made the decisions that you did. And it's because we don't want to see a checklist. We want to understand what your thinking process was. Checklists are great, but did you come up with that? Were there insights that your team developed? We need to see the reasoning behind it, which helps us understand the way you think. So it's easy to just put first I did some user research, and then I did an affinity diagram, and then I did this. But why? What is the story that you need to tell us about your process? So really think about the underlying reasoning and help, which can help articulate your design decisions. My second tip is to get messy. It's okay to show us that things didn't go the way you planned. It's totally fine, because in the real world, they don't. All right. So if your process is so perfect, it personally makes me a little suspicious that you might be, embellishing things a little bit. So I want you to show me where things went off the rails and how you got back on track, because that's going to give me a clue as to how you handle those things moving forward. So if you come and work for me, how are you going to handle that when it does happen? So I need to see that. And I also want to see how you applied the lessons of that project to future projects. I don't want to see that you just do the same thing over and over again. There's always room for improvement. And I like to see that someone had a learning experience, because for me, failure is a learning experience, and we can't grow unless we hit those roadblocks and obstacles. So don't be afraid to talk about that in your projects. I also need to see that you can think. And maybe this is just me. I don't know if the other senior designers want to raise their hand, but I have to see that you're capable of thinking on your own and not always going to have me fix all of your questions that you can't figure out. I don't have time to do that in every single case. Now, that being said, poop rolls uphill. So it's my job to help with those things, but I also need to see that you have the ability to think on your feet, make quick decisions, can think critically about the work, and help with the vision of the project. I need to see that. And it's going to be harder to figure those things out as a junior designer when you don't have a lot of experience, but it's just as important to show us, because we can see that little glimmer of who you are and what your potential is when we can see that you can think for yourself. And I think this is kind of my final one, but please respect the time of the person who's reviewing your portfolio. And this comes down to like how much you put into it. I'm not going to lie, when I post a job, I have a lot of candidates. So I look at the resume and then I look at the portfolio, and I don't have more than 5 minutes to spend. So please know that it's not because I don't like you, and it's not because I don't think you're great, but I don't have a lot of time if I'm looking at 40 portfolios to spend on yours. So give me the good stuff. Put it at the top. I always tell my students, challenge or problem, solution, impact. I need to see your portfolio and a quick snapshot all at the top. Then put the details. If I'm intrigued, I'll keep scrolling down and look at it. And then as I'm scrolling down, give me things that I can hook onto: scannable headings, bullet points, really cool images. Show me the story without having me read every little thing. Hit the highlights. One of our reviewers, Mark, he always talks about find the really good nuggets and show me the nuggets, show me the good stuff, the insights that you developed. You don't have to show me everything, but show me the stuff that led to the next, path on it. That's how you respect our time. If we want to, we will dig deeper if we're really intrigued by what we're seeing. And that's all I have to say about that. All right, I'm waiting for Jennifer to give me the cue, but I'm going to go ahead and introduce our reviewers, unless y'all have any questions for me.
Yeah, I think maybe if we could go over the reviewers, and then I think we should pretty much be set up. There were some people who pre-filled the form who aren't here, so maybe the reviewers can just pick one in their room. But yeah, maybe a few more minutes and we'll be good to go.
Okay, great. All right, well, I'm super excited. We have a really amazing group of designers here to review portfolios. So here's how this is going to work. I'm going to introduce them. And then when we open up the breakout rooms, each reviewer will be in a room. We're going to assign the people whose portfolios they've picked to review to the rooms with them. And then we'll get everybody else in there. Just because you didn't submit it ahead of time doesn't mean that we won't review your portfolio. It just means that we're going to start with the ones who submitted ahead of time. And then if you want to have your portfolio reviewed, you can just get on the list after them. But let me go ahead and talk about them. First of all, we have Dante. He is in AI applications at IBM. From Portland. So he is an esteemed designer that we're really excited to have with us today. Jacqueline Mangles, who is a senior UX researcher at Hopin. Megan Thomas, also a senior UX designer. I know her because she's also a trilogy instructor on the West Coast and a curriculum engineer, so doing the UX curriculum. Jeff Carpenter, senior director of digital experience at CenturyLink. Mike Dallers, UX designer at Home Depot. Aaron Heth, who is UX design lead Star Wars hunters at Zynga, so on the gaming side. And I have Mark Hussel, senior product designer at VMware. PJ, Prismic Jaglowski, sorry, I always like mangle your name, and that's my apologies for doing that, who's been in UX and ATX for a really long time. And I don't have your bio up in front of me, but I know that you have a full-time position now. And Andrina Dyer, who is also a UX researcher at IBM. Did I miss any of our reviewers? I didn't think so. All right. Jennifer, I hope I gave you enough time. I'm going to open it up to any questions and let you open up the breakout rooms when you're ready. If just hang tight as we get everybody assigned, since we have a large crowd, 92 people on the call today, and we're trying to get everybody into breakout rooms. Does anyone have any questions? I'll watch the chat. How much time should be invested into portfolio case studies? Noah, would you mind coming off mute and helping me understand your question a little bit more? Do you mean like how much time should you put into a case study, or how much like reading time should a person be spending on it?
I'm more curious for the job application aspect. I know it's just maybe a minute, 2 minutes you're looking at the resume. So I was just curious in terms of conveying like problems we encountered, ways we solved it. Is that something you would post on a website, have a reference to it, but relatively speaking, expect them to just be looking at your resume?
So I think it depends for every company. I know that in talking with a Facebook recruiter, they do look at the case studies. They'll look at the front of your site. They'll click on one of your case studies. They'll zoom through it pretty quickly. So that's why I always suggest having a bit at the top that has like the nuggets that they need along with the final prototype, and not just bury that at the very end. However, hiring managers might spend some more time depending on what is included in the portfolio.
Thank you.
All right, and I think we're ready to break out, so I'll go ahead and start that now.
All right, yay, Jennifer. You're the best.
If there's an issue, just feel free to DM me. I think everyone's leaving now.
And I think there was a question from Cindy. We don't have it set up to move between breakout rooms.
Yeah, this is something that might be a little bit limited, but we can maybe look into this if we do future portfolio reviews, Cindy.
Yeah, definitely. Like maybe do a night of UX researchers.
Do I have a few people still left in here? Okay, let me see.
Not everybody's joined.
Okay, let's. Natasha, Soya. Oh, maybe it's still going.
It's still going.
Okay. Okay, I've recognized Akshita's name. She should be assigned into a room. I'm not sure why it's not going.
Akshita, are you able to get into the room?